Australia to avoid a recession. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. Let's have a look at this article from the AAP where Australia will apparently avoid a recession. Now, there's a few definitions of it. The good old-fashioned of, 2 quarters of negative economic growth. That's probably a pretty useful one. But you've got to realize as well that our GDP growth per capita, that needs to be taken account of too. And that's just suddenly, dip below negative. Now, we might avoid a recession. I'm not counting the last recession we had because it was completely artificial and the government just shoveled money everywhere. But remember the recession we had before that. The recession Australia had to have. There's a generation that don't really know what a recession is, and they may start to feel it. If not the entire economy, certainly particular industries. So, Australia expected to avoid a recession as the economy stalls. Treasurer Jim Chalmers said Australia is still expected to avoid a recession as new data is expected to reveal higher interest rates and dicey global conditions are slowing growth. The ABS released the national accounts on Wednesday. Dr. Chalmers said there was still a lot of uncertainty both globally and domestically. The two things that matter most will be China and the impact of these interest rate rises, which are biting on family budgets and on the economy more broadly. Well, that's the point. That's what they want to do. And in many ways, I would argue China has a greater impact on the value of our dollar than more than we dare to admit. But our expectations, our forecasts in the budget are that the Australian economy will continue to grow, but quite slowly. So if it's still growing, but we're getting huge population growth, is that what we want? Our quality of life per person is going to go down. Speaking of the Reserve Bank's decision to keep interest rates on hold, in September, Dr. Chalmers said, while the government welcomed the pause, it understood people were still feeling pressure. Our major focus is rolling out billions of dollars in cost of living support and doing that in a way that takes the edge off inflation rather than make it worse, he said. Why don't you bring back the reduction in the petrol excise? That will impact everyone instantly. Do that. Inflation is still the primary challenge in our economy, and that's why we've seen these rate rises. In the 3 months to March, the economy grew a modest 0.2% and 2.3% on an annual basis. Ahead of the June result, forecasts were feeling more upbeat following the release of some of the last remaining data points that slot into GDP, with the strong results enough to stamp out fears of a negative quarter of economic activity. The Commonwealth Bank updated its forecast higher in the wake of strong public demand and net export demand, with the bank penciling 0.5% quarterly growth and 1.9% lift over the year. Economist Stephen Wu said the results would mask weakness in private demand, which included household spending and dwelling investment. Instead, the pickup in GDP growth reflects comparative strength in the public and external sectors, as well as rapid population growth, he predicted. ANZ also upgraded its forecast on Tuesday. The bank's economists are expecting a 0.4% lift in GDP over the quarter and a 1.9% rise on a year-on-year basis. The national accounts reports also include measures of labour cost growth and productivity. So there we go. Let's have a bit of a chat about this one. So we may have avoided a recession in this recent data that came out, but will one approach or materialise in the next couple of years? And will it really matter? It depends on what sector you're in, how you'll be impacted. I think the divide in the different classes in Australia is exacerbating. The property owners and those that don't own property is growing. And just, the two-speed K-shaped recovery is going to continue. I think people are going to make discretionary spending cuts, and that's going to be impacting the industries that depend on that. You'll see some sectors go down. Then, of course, if Labor wants to stimulate the economy, what do governments in Australia do? We're going to see more money pumped into construction and housing. What do you reckon? So, guys, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one. Do you think we will see a recession, or do you think we'll avoid it? As always, thanks for watching. Check out HeiseBim or HeiseDoes, And if you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here and want to help out, you can support us on YouTube or Patreon. Use our referral links, buy our pocket squares, or call me if you need an architect. Take care, have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.